Hello, good day to you. My name is Brother Dayo. I have a few thoughts and questions in my mind that I wish to share with you. If you are a spiritual person, are you spiritual? And are you liberal? Do you mind discussing your spirituality? This is what I hope to discuss. The thoughts in my mind, the questions in my mind about spiritual people. The phrase spiritual but not religious became a common thing, a common saying in the society about a decade or two ago. Or should I say, I got to be aware of this saying about a decade or two ago. At first, I thought it was limited to former Christians, in quotes, that turned rebels and preferred engaging in spiritism instead. But later I found it's common to former devotees of other organized religions too. And importantly, I found that the main reason for which such mindsets came up in people is because of the set codes, rules, regulations, and laws handed down from many generations, either by some individual human or spirit being by which the observances of organized religions are carried out, as against individual experiences along individual paths or in spiritual journeys, if you like, in connecting with the realms beyond the physical, which spiritual people, in quotes, prefer. So it occurred to me that this fad, so to say, is about some hotheads diving into the ocean of the spiritual worlds all alone with little or no knowledge at all of what they might encounter. Seems rash to me, seems quite unwise to do such a thing just to avoid being controlled by some human or some human rules and codes. The question came up in my mind: what says there are no controlling forces in the spiritual worlds? What says the very control you hate and you're trying to avoid by going on your own personal individual path wouldn't come up on the path you've chosen for yourself in the spiritual world? But then it occurred to me again that you people claim to be spiritual, isn't it? Which would mean the first question that occurred to me might not be really so seriously relevant. That is, you are likely not so unfamiliar with the spiritual. You are not so seriously innocent altogether or ignorant. Okay, so I let the first question rest, at least, step aside for a while another more relevant and important question came up in my mind. Okay, if you are spiritual, you are somewhat familiar with the spiritual world, and you could navigate your own path in the spiritual world. In the first place, how did you become spiritual? How did you come about being spiritual? Someone like me, I am not spiritual in the sense of operating my senses consciously in the spiritual, which is what I believe you people mean by being spiritual. So how did you come about being spiritual? operating your senses consciously in the spiritual realms. Would you say natural? If you say natural, and you mean by that your being spiritual was all determined by nature, in quotes, whatever you mean by nature, without human contribution, then it would mean that nature, in quotes, produces both spiritual and non-spiritual kinds. Your kind being spiritual, and my kind, like I said earlier, being non-spiritual. And from my experience, spiritual people and non-spiritual people, much of the times, aren't so very much on good terms. And that would suggest that one surely belongs to the good and the other belongs to the evil of nature. The nature we're supposed to be the source of both. So, another question which I believe is valid came up in my mind. How do you people that are spiritual prove what side of nature, in quotes, you belong? Good or evil? Okay, now, my talk is actually directed at those of you that are spiritual, that somehow found yourselves in Christian gatherings, particularly. Or rather, but you believe you are more than Christian, in quotes. You are beyond Christian. You are beyond being Christian. Even though you believe in Jesus Christ. Okay? It came up in my mind again that if indeed you people believe in Jesus Christ and but claim that you are no Christians, then you have got the burden of proof that your spirituality is of the good side of nature and not evil. Because it occurs to me that if you people do truly believe in Jesus Christ, then being called Christian ought not to be a big deal. Your disposition towards being called Christian casts a dark shade, in my mind, on your claim of faith in Jesus Christ. Because the context in which it is reported in the Bible, in the book of Acts, chapter 11, that the disciples of Jesus Christ were called Christian, is that of celebrating a period of effective discipling. It was something of a kind of a crown on the efforts of good teachers, good disciples. And the writer of the book of Acts wrote it in a way that it showed it was a good thing. It was a reward for the good labor of good teachers. So then, why do you reject it and yet believe in Jesus Christ? I strongly still believe the burden of proof that your kind is of good and not of evil in nature is very much on you. These are my thoughts. I, for one, have doubts as to do with the source of your spirituality in the very first place, not to now talk of your negative disposition to being called Christian. But if you're a liberal spiritual person, if I may say that, then share your mind with me in the comment section. Kindly respond to my thoughts and my questions. And let's look at these things together as we try to resolve some dark aspects of life. Or if you like, as you try to enlighten people like us who are not spiritual like yourself. I hope to further engage any liberal spiritual persons on this matter on my channel. I'll be looking forward to your comments. Thank you very much.
He's the lion and the lamb. Who is he with the power?